What's going on, YouTube? Like, subscribe, comment, and before we get to the video, thank you for watching. So, this is a special we're gonna do today, and it's probably gonna be a long video. I'd call it a rant, if you could say that, but I mean, it's whatever. But so, if you've heard that, the Democrats have voted to shut the government down, which doesn't really benefit either side of the aisle, to be honest. But I mean, it's really just preventing the inevitable, because the Republicans have the majority in the House and Senate. So at least for at least a year now, because 2026 midterms are gonna come, and I don't think they're gonna win the midterms. But I don't think it's gonna be like 2018 where they lose the midterms, because everyone knows what the Democrats are about now, pretty much. But yeah, that's crazy to me. And Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries trying to change the narrative, said, quote, they're gonna have to completely just get rid of their narrative they've been pushing for the last 10 years, I'd say, of being woke to the core, and it's not gonna pan out. They're gonna have to change their motto and change their whole core ideology, or else they're just not gonna be winning elections anymore. Now, there's I believe New York and Virginia are having elections this year for mayor, or something like that. Special elections or off-year elections and all that. But yeah, New Jersey has an election too this year for their senator, I believe. But, or is it governor? I can't remember. It's either senator or governor. I can't remember. But yeah, they're going to have an election for that. But that'll, Democrats are going to win Virginia, New Jersey, or New York, because those are just blue states. They're always going to vote blue. That's the problem they run into, They're going to vote blue. You could be the worst Democrat, and you could be just totally uncharismatic and still win in Virginia, probably. That's how crazy those people, up north and all that are, kind of, New Jersey, New York, and Virginia all vote blue in presidential elections for the last, 30 years now. And I think it's just Republicans need to give up on trying to win Virginia. They're not going to win it. They're better off trying to win New Jersey at this point. They got a better chance in New Jersey than they do in Virginia. So you gotta kind of, and plus, why would you even? Virginia ain't that much. It's 12 or 13 votes. It ain't that much. I'd rather shoot for New Jersey, because it's 14, 15 votes, I believe. So it's got slightly more, actually. So yeah, and all that stuff. And Georgia, we don't know. They're a flip-flop state. They could go blue. Heck, you don't know. They may very well go red again. It depends on, what the rest of Trump's term's going to be like, and it really depends on if J.D. Vance is going to want to campaign in Georgia, and he's going to, in short, I mean, Georgia, if Republicans win Georgia, they're most likely going to win Nevada. And it's historically accurate that if the Republicans win Georgia, they end up winning Nevada and they end up winning Arizona and all that stuff. Arizona, this might be a hot take. Arizona's not a swing state no more. It's voted red more often than blue now. So it's definitely a red state now. It's not a blue state no more. Now, if this was 2013, I would have said, yeah, I'd say it was a flip-flop state 10 years ago. But I don't believe it's a flip-flop state anymore. I believe J.D. Vance is going to win Virginia, or not Virginia, but Arizona. He's going to win Arizona by like 10, 20 points. It's going to be just a blowout. Nevada, though, might be a flip-flop. You can't really determine Nevada. I don't know why I keep saying Virginia, but Nevada, it's going to be kind of crazy because Trump barely won Nevada, and that was like the only election he won Nevada in, and historically has been a blue state, but kind of flip-flopped in the last 10 years. But yeah, historically a blue state, but recent times have shown it's becoming redder. The state has shifted dramatically from a blue state to a red state, and in about 5 years, it's probably not even going to be a swing state anymore. It'll be a solid red state by 2029, I believe. Solid red. And same thing goes for Michigan, and I think it's becoming more of a red state. It used to be a very heavy blue state about 5-10 years ago, and for sure 20 years ago. But yeah, it's shifted more red in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, all because of Donald Trump. Probably, before Donald Trump, Michigan wasn't even a swing state. It was, but it wasn't a state that the Republicans had a chance to win. Clinton would win Michigan by like 6 points. It wasn't even close. And then Obama would win it by like 12. Obama, it's weird because in both his elections, he won Michigan by like double digits. But then, Hillary Clinton didn't win, I think she won Michigan, I believe, but it was by like a point. It was very slim. And Biden won it by like 10. But it was less than what Obama won it by. So, Obama, he won multiple elections. Biden, he only ran against Trump. He didn't run in 2024. And he was a VP in Obama's time. So, you can't say Biden ran during Obama's time because, he's a vice president. They don't really run for office. They're chosen by the president, because, Trump chose J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance didn't win. Trump just straight up chose him, So you can't say he won. J.D., you can't say he won because he was chosen. So, and all that stuff. But I believe in the next 10 years, Michigan's going to be solid red. Unless the Democrats completely change their ideology. Michigan will never be a blue state again unless the Democrats change their ideology. Wisconsin's a flip-flop state. It's hard to predict that one. And Minnesota's it's kind of, I think Minnesota might be the next swing state because it's getting closer and closer and closer. 10 years ago, Obama he won Minnesota by like double digits, and then Trump he nearly won Minnesota in the last election. He only lost it by like 3%. He barely lost that election in Minnesota. It's the margin has completely shrunk for the Democrats, and it went from a 20-point win to like a 3-point win in a single administration span. And you don't count Biden really, but yeah, Biden was let's just say what it is. 2020 was a fluke. Because how in the world do you get like 84 million votes? I don't think it's physically, humanly possible to get that many. And Trump only got like 70 million. I don't know how, but that's something. I mean, it's so weird. 2020 was an anomaly. How it went from like all the states went went more blue than they ever had been probably since 92. I mean, 2020 was the most blue election since like probably 92 at least, or probably pre 1940s, and with FDR, where he won the entire map basically. But yeah, it was a weird election, and it showed it was a fluke, and because of the following election, 2024, every swing state went red. Every single swing state went red. And it showed that 2020 was a fluke. Because if 2020 was not a fluke, Nevada would have been blue, and Michigan would have been blue. If 2020 was not a fluke, the Democrats would have been more like competitive, and it's so weird to me. But yeah, don't listen to mainstream media. You gotta go with your gut. You look at the media are pushing their narrative and all that, You go with your gut. Your personal gut. You go with it. Don't let nobody tell you who you should and shouldn't vote for. You gotta go with your gut feeling. Do I feel like these people are better than the other side? Do I feel like they're gonna do better and actually, make a change in the American world? Because at the end of the day, it's America versus like the commie East. And this is kind of a hot take. It's always been America versus China and Russia and all the Eastern countries. At the end of the day, it's really a war between ideologies. America as a country cannot fail, or the whole world will be a communist H-hole. Yeah. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this little rant and special. Thanks for watching. And if you have doubts about the world, Yeah, don't worry. Because, 85, 90 years, we won't even, we will all be gone. And, and all that stuff. So, why should you really care about all this, Because you won't be alive in a century. If you make it 100 years, you're going to be old. Very likely, if you're watching a video like this and you're most likely grown, adult, you're probably going to be in the ground in 80, 90 years. So, yeah, you put your faith in Jesus Christ and God, and everything will be okay. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Peace.